Nancy is a Kenyan girl, about to face a brutal passage to womanhood. Her clitoris and labia are to be cut out. Then she's ready for marriage. The Pokot community here have been circumcising or cutting their girls for centuries. It is believed cutting began to stop women straying whilst men were away. Now, it's just a way of life. It is early December and the cutting season has already begun.
Wameambukizana mmoja wao maybe alikuwa na ugonjwa wa ukimwi, maybe sasa wametumia kisu moja, wameambukizana wote sababu wametumia kisu moja. Sasa baada ya hapo maybe au wote wataweza kuaffectiwa, wanashikwa na hiyo ugonjwa na wanakufa, na inakuja kwa hasara tena kwa sababu walitumia kisu moja.
I saw the cutting. I saw the place where the clitoris was at first. The wound from the first cut, from the first stage. And I saw the chopping of the wall of is that the labia? Yeah, that's the lips of the female genitalia. They chopped it, everything, until it was flat. Actually, it was flat and red. You couldn't see anything. Somebody sat on her chest. Another woman sat on her chest. Another one was holding her hands, and she was screaming. Another was holding her leg, her head like this, and like you're cutting pieces of meat. And after that, I ran. I just ran. I couldn't imagine how she was. Really, really painful. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
There is bleeding, severe bleeding. At times they shock. And at times they even die suddenly. The life of a woman is decided by a man. Most of the work is done by the women. By undergoing FGM and withstanding the pain, they can prove to the community that they can withstand the life here, the harsh life in this community.
The people are still practicing this nini very much are the illiterate people, those who have never seen a school.
They practice nomadism. The men wanted the women to be circumcised so that they can avoid these extramarital affairs when they are left at home. It is being done in very remote areas there, and these women, these girls have not maybe been empowered that there is somewhere to run to. The girls themselves see the way their mothers are suffering, and that is why they are saying marriage is something like getting into slavery.
Nancy is 17 and her family live on a remote hillside. She is the firstborn of 7 children, yet her younger brother has passed her in school already. Her younger sister has already been cut, but Nancy is a rebel and is refusing. For a girl of little means, Nancy has great hopes.
Yeah,
my parents kwani jole chana gisapyo to bangunda nya akwana chana ngateke mena na mbola kangara ka chana nyali nya shelo ku yo nya karan angara ga bika wala ka choke chime ke ngara kai marawa sine chana ke mota nya lani ante ke yil tanan akwanya ki changa le je ba mota kenyine ki gana pertan
Kaya ini mamut tatabato, olonyo kela atta maminya nyoi banyu morning do mamut. Kaya no gomra pala. Gomra la tai, onda tai il tamun ngede. Ade din mami tatungo to ada tatanya ta. Te cho somono be mun, amro be. Ate nyu te jo mu te nyu gi ngaro le gel ne.
Mita no na ba pan patagla. Ko mutai. Le ko mutai te yil ta
Gertrude is the other Pokot girl who is resisting being cut. Until now, she has been the ideal daughter, obedient and hard-working, the apple of her father's eye and his only girl child. She is also a bright girl with big ambitions. She would be on the cusp of secondary school if only her father believed in educating girls.
Ini cuma naga nyoni mugulo nyoni ke, ada ya hari ini nyoni boleh dia, nyoni waktu naga mugulo lo, te nyurti.
Sasa ningependa nisome baada ya nikimaliza shule, nisome baada ya kumaliza masomo yangu, nikuje nikuwe daktari.
Gertrude is at her grandmother's house. She's run away from home and is seeking refuge here to avoid being cut.
Nilikuwa nimejua huko sasa nikaenda tu asubuhi vile wanataka kutahiri watoto na mimi sasa nikaondoka nikaenda kwa koko.
Tumi monu kayo, kiturbi, tumai, kiturbi tumai yo. Kaki mama ndole arawan ala babu kita tu, wala monu ngaita. Allah ya kami gua monda.
Alian jaya nyina bunga mina uya kota katanya mimi nake. Waktu bawani. Tana batara sun mingin ini dalam jago tapi na bani tak tena. Keso lagi pembel sanda papung.
Aku nabo jalan ya tiki buka. Minyak itu nas. Kalau aku aku nak tahu. Kajian lain, kalau ni monta sama mot. Empaka me nak batu. Bawa yunan, bawa tanya kisah ngamun ngau itu tu. Kama mwenye mwete hapa je poroto tagu moniurtum.
Dale kama ingewezekana niweze ni wanione shule nyingine ili siwezi nikasumbuliwa na mzazi baada.
This Pokot girl Veronica, unlike Gertrude and Nancy, was cut, then married, and is now pregnant for the first time. She thinks she's about 15 years old. She lives too far from town to go to school. She has little understanding of what a woman who has been cut will experience when giving birth.
Veronica will face many difficulties because she is circumcised. In our community, we believe that if a mother is pregnant and she is almost to deliver, her grave is open.
Women who have been cut heal in a way which leaves just a tiny hole for urinating. But when it comes to childbirth, they need an episiotomy. This means the walls of the vagina must be cut open.
She'll be given home episiotomy, whereby anything can be used to cut. For example, a piece of iron sheet which is left there, if they were not prepared, if the labor is just precipitated and it happens like that, because the passage is very tight.
A common practice is to cut young girls like Veronica before they're old enough to resist. Once cut, marriage follows. Yet these girls often do not have wide enough pelvises to deliver a child. If they cannot go to hospital, they could die. In autumn, a tiny market town in central Pokot, a group of men and women are gathering to discuss how to replace cutting with an alternative rite of passage, which gives girls a chance to become women without being cut. This group is a grassroots self-help group called Kepsteno Rotwo, meaning abandon the knife. Rhoda is an educated Pokot woman and midwife who has experienced it firsthand.
We still need more and more energy and even more advocacy to go and talk to these people, because it is going on now silently.
The real roots of cutting are lost in time, yet it is so much the organising principle of Pokot culture that this group is struggling to find ways to tackle the stigma and superstition which are barriers to change.
Those who are not circumcised are mocked, they are not married. The men also fear that I marry an uncircumcised woman, I will be laughed at in the community, people will not value me. Unless we remove the stigma, there's no way it will stop.
For months, these men and women have been spreading the word and recruiting for their alternative rite of passage ceremony. It is just weeks away.
So far we have registered 130 girls who are willing to come and join this alternative ceremony.
Gertrude is still safe with her grandmother, but her mother Jane is still struggling to convince Gertrude's father to change his mind.
Lena mamutanya buona mamuten jinya do ye so da bita da.
Tay mo dia le perde lai de.
E do nen bon ga ta
Sai mo tu. Amburu wari ne ja.
Ni la ko.
Ata misiu ni misiu. Mama ni. Mama ni. Mama misiu.
Stene.
Ibu misiu na.
Stene.
Tang le we ti bu ne ho ke ba ai de. Sia bi la pai mi do bi. Singo mo ne wa. Ni bi nyoru tu ko na ngaro. Ko ti.
Ye mun la mo gi banya no che vale che tanja na ba ti nya gi mamun ne che no anda ge som da ko am fu a ke daktari anda manga sai garas je ba
ai kwani an
gitar nya tar mon nga ya sai mangal nem je ba manga garas ye
ya ge le ra si ge le tu kana ba
ye lu wala nem tu gu ji ni won che ba ya nen meri ta mun ga te ta nya no da gi ta ba mon nga mo nya tu ag ta ba ta ko an secondary awo ko sta je el do re da ku daktari an sai kaya yerinda guso mane men da yerga la
so mane ne mo nya ko na tukun u ye nyu ta sai u ye ke
tayo
mo ya ma nya
mo ko wa nya ma ta ko man da ga ta ay la yona
am buro go je le te on je le ara je le mo lo nya ko mo je te nya ko ni ga ro ti nyoru bi ti ate ga nam sire go ni ba mi nya mo lo la ta
ui sao đây cô ơi cô này gì vậy tao muốn đi ra quán của mình tao biết tay là muốn tay gì nữa adini kung wala ngala kan wala yung muto bich anda jigi wechen bito muto kangi yetu kabisa menda le muni jiba sai sasa tadi kamu dia munu sai ya menge kicang suya ba mun ngai sianya ka karer mun kita jona ka tur mun ngai le ka karer ko nyar ko wala chakai tata ye ngale joni no bon gola ros nile ba bo nguya ta ka shalo meshele nya ba nya ku shale meshele nye so mo kwa ye la kwa lo ngara kande bon top tape kwa no ko era kuro kwa nyinde ngalonji kwa.
Most of the people here, they just refuse to think. They choose not to see the consequences.
Meanwhile, way out in the hills, Nancy and her mother are sharing the washing up. Some of Nancy's friends have wanted to resist, but lost their case. They have been cut already. Nancy is determined to stand her ground.
Asune la ta tukun ata ga mami tukun mo jama ngi tune mara yang tune la ta school la yini ma ngi mare ma bawri mara ngi de retu go ni le nya ma mara ngi tune du jara mi de yele I an yele nyo le nyo kwa sune nyo le gi yel dan yo ni nya ma ngi de gi yel de ba lo ma ngi mune ko mi ya ko tune gi le mo ta tune ni mi ko balu ya de gi so na wer ye mo jama le mi ga ni ma ta nya ga de gi tan Cuma jaga barian ni kurel kenya kau ni. Awak ini karman tanggung kita bagai awak tak kenal ni macam mana ni? Muka lo ni jinjau kurel boleh tak kondirinya? Tani merata ke oni? Kamu yang sana ada jalan lah. Merasa mana minyak lamu tak mutani sih kenyang mana? Ada kon saya tu jalan mu tak ngerak ini tu cari lemu ni.
Mitanya maka tangwa mata ya.
Maminya nyulo ngerak ini cile mu tak me tak ngulo ko nya ya me la do we tangan. We tangan gua kilin yo tu ke ceng.
Anda tanya.
Cik.
Ci nyo tu ke do tu ke le no tini le ci jami kasa.
Nyole ne kasi.
Minya celewan mo na school. Agak tanu wa nyu ya jar nyaman. Somse to ci nyo le yo gwa sune ba pung ya kasa nya.
Anda kasa mo kasa yo la.
Ya kasa ji tamle er tu. Ji nyo mara wibi le nyo na ya nyu mo jama nyu.
Awa mo jama ji tamu nyana chami.
Sai nyu ga.
Awa mara.
Ma le nyo ni.
Mara jana kan.
Tab ka tu ku ji no ko mi da ma ke.
Mara nye tu ku jani ku le jana. Mengasa ngawari ngwashe. Ne shida me ke tangata shida nganyo pa yo. Me shoni wata ngoyen kan. Mere ngaga ne ngoyen. Menda mikira ngaragui. Mikir riwa ro ke te riwa ta ke riwa goinya. Mutanga sepen penya ta me game, sepen penya ta me game. Ke mi ke te poga dini te poga te ke goinya, te penya te pa ne ni goyi. Tamagira sta ke ba ke sobi ke tut jogi me. Masabje jogi me go te anguna ga ko na tukun. Mere nyu me mandar pe wa ke me gita. Meranya gitu nih lah, kata. Pakai betul lagi betul gua kabarnya atau kalau kune lu meranya meranya itu memutani aja.
Udah ndak banyak kayak munnya lah jam tadi kayak irta wana tuh kune kayak ngeraga ini dia weri gitu.
Oh, karena kan mamnya lagi mamnya jana. Tanya apa ini sih beci. Kalau kami dia tepan lagi kayak mutani mamnya nggak nih. Muda util ini nggak sih ya. Nggak ada perda saya ngeraga kan ada perda gua jaga rena udah nang nih. Ini jangan mana mutunya dah sama macam ni mau tunggunya. Kita meja ni so.
Si belan ngalai cukup nyaman. Kau ngana matu gua selu.
Tiada nane ya tiada nane mula ke turun apa ya biji. Tahu tak yang tiada nane let. Tahu tak ada mana letnya. Lagi siapa kan kan. Kan gitu ala tanya datang. Merang gitu dia let misri kan. Tahu. Datang oleh kanan lagi ya pergi apa ketang. Aku masuk mau ni kan leoni. Karena matu leoni beli. Sekarang kita enggak nyawa mutai. Esok aku mah, aku nyinde meso. Orang mana kayaknya?
Belan ngalai aku nyaman ni. Mungkin.
Mungkin awak tanam mana yo?
Gertrude's father has spent the last few days pondering. He's worried that his daughter could, if pressed, commit suicide. And his wife's argument that education could give his family far greater wealth than a dowry of cows has begun to sink in. But he has a problem. What to do with the down payment on the dowry that he's already received for his daughter.
Lakini mpaka nili napata alafu, lakini nitakuwa tu na wasiwasi labda anaweza kunidanganya nini nipate vile ataongea, atasema vile ataambia au vile watasema ameshaamua nisome au la.
Since Gertrude's mother has made a request to the self-help group to convince her husband to reconsider cutting their daughter, they have been doing everything they can to change his mind.
Kita nyanyi jep tembaca pokok, tosoman mungur jep tembaca pokok. Leto ke suami sana dunia kemak kul, ke suami sana unjuk tango, molong nak suami sana koroni dia lekir, agar loko faida baca angkalat, lo, makurin jaya to soman muning di jep tembaca nyaman. Kalau tinggal di muka nggak penjong aja angkat, takut kenal lagi cerita ya.
Atau mundur jam tiga ni. Tengok lagi mundur bala, beri anjau.
Cara.
Ketemu ni tak kemen tu, macam begini. Ane aku teni pak, kalau main tu pasti nanti.
Wah.
Tadi ada bertemu ni rumah kau, ada yang mau mana pada mini.
Kita mesti non batu kamu ni lagi totok.
Non nanti baru boleh macam mun. Nak kita perjuangan ni ada. Siang kawan.
Toka som kacam cukup som montan. Lugu gie dek ngapa mana banyak tangga. Muna sang roki nyokram. Anyur ni laktaria dek nyur malinyon, dek nyur dokta nyoni ni le lugu le nya sewarnya pejagiro gini. Betul lugu le ambanyi.
Ano? Udah tiba lugu le.
Sara
Gertrude has arrived home. Her mother has asked her to return to talk to her father, who has calmed down. She's not sure about his true state of mind and how much she can really rely upon a change of heart.
Kita kalau menyebangan gitu, lu kena gumau ya lah, seri robi ni aman, tegam leh kau, tu sulit ni ngeram gulu lah, kau montanya, bani mana, ngerigina, kau ngau ngerigina, tu ya pi gumau ya gua tu uli orang tu, ni pi pak, itu ngerti, atau ngerti jaya, ini kita ambil kaya gimana ya, gimana ya, asyik boleh. Nyoko mala ase mondo ase iro wanda milion ya wo soman ko chemu bi soman kami kan abdi se mondo kami lihat dapat masih baba wangu sasa nikaambia msichana sasa lipi tao wenyewe usiendelee kwenye viti ya wenyewe. Bani ona ngerigina kungau ngerigina itu yang beraya itu yang wasome kwa hiyo area msima sasa yeye ndio mmoja ya kwanza kuchukuliwa hapa yeye wao daktari hiyo ndio hata watu tashangaa waza kinyo mmoja ya kwanza kuja hapa ni mtu jeroti kitu ndio chona chinefeta wonto amitari kami tamu tanya, dia datang lagi ni, atau aja tu tolong aja lewur pagoton, dia datang lagi mutat, apa mau nuati pun, tu mau nak jawab tanya gile, nyalenya ni tu minya hai, tu mau apa jawab tanya wiaran dia ubje.
Meanwhile, Rhoda, the educated midwife from the self-help group, has come to the parents of the other rebel, Nancy, at their home in the hills. The alternative rite of passage ceremony starts today, and she's here to ensure Nancy is allowed to attend.
Kaca mabat, ada rosia lah, nogi bari mon nyaman, ayi karom mon nyaman gusaman, nyome lah itu tinggal tiya yang ada joni jalan dia wallet tema kamu, mela kami kalau kita aja masuk sama ya tu aja berdagang, ya ni batu kun gini kasih amat tengok gila, kira nenyu, dulu muka ngua enggak tahu kon tu kuci, temu kata kayak ngeraka mau aja telah do, denu, bye. Yo apa sana ni lagi ni? Bye.
Quería apenas garam. No quería más.
Dami de sana aja babu.
Aku ambil alas mamitan. Aku ambil
kan.
Aku pone.
Bye nyo ada lagi ama.
Nancy is now at last on her way to the alternative rite of passage.
Bagaimana kata no enenda tu? Nua ka papeta lagi mesti sinjo tu mamu atu na song kabe. Bagaimana so?
Girls from all over the hillsides join Nancy on her way.
Ata kero jashe kerkeinyo kono mu chomu ke jabolo tunja kuro se jana no. E maka palemba Nancy jena kita mota. Kai kata jana man ba cha. Mit chama lu ne sambo ya dana ko. O jana no mo. Am kero kanya manada. Ile nyana kulimbana.
Gertrude arrives just a little later.
Girls are coming from all over this region. We are expecting them to arrive as from now until evening. So far we are ready to receive about 130, but so far we don't know if all of them will attend.
In fact, many more turn up.
So far we have 175 girls who have arrived to do the training on alternative rite of passage, and we are going to teach them on the effects of FGM, and also initiate them without cutting them, so that we can prepare them to be responsible women.
Over the next few days, the girls were educated about the real consequences of cutting. They were given lessons on anatomy and a graphic description of what would have happened to them. One particular photograph showing the scarring and tiny passage left after cutting shocked the girls into silence. Their horror was palpable. Domtilla is a guest speaker brought in as a role model. She is uncut and a university student. She urges the girls to fight back, ignore the stigma and look forward to a great future.
Look at me, what I'm doing. Before you need this program, I told them, when you are educated, you'll get yourself a job. You'll not live the kind of life our parents lived. They believed no man was going to marry any girl who was not being circumcised. I told them it's not true, and they know it's not true. Just look at me. I'm married. I have a husband. I've not been circumcised. We live happily. We're very happy. So it's very much possible.
Nancy has become very popular with the other girls, and they have chosen her to be their head girl. Nancy decides they need some light relief in preparation for the coming out ceremony the next day. She's become a natural leader. The self-help group know that until Pokot men choose to value uncut women, change is impossible. The group persuade men at every opportunity they can. This group of church-going Pokot are asked to put their hands up if they would now marry an uncut woman. Nearly all of them say yes. This attitude is gradually spreading to more rural men.
We don't want to follow the taboo of our grandfather and our grandma. Now we are modern. When you circumcise a girl, a baby girl, no stimulation anymore. My principle is, I'm going to marry and circumcise a woman. Period.
The big day has arrived. Nancy and Gertrude are coming out as mature, Pokot women ready for marriage or whatever they wish for in their future. Yet this rite of passage has no cutting. Nancy's mother and father have arrived for the celebration. Gertrude's mother has come too, but her father is nowhere to be seen. The sheer numbers of girls at this alternative rite of passage ceremony has attracted many local dignitaries, tribal chiefs, and even a top education official.
Apa botini ko jawa ina kan wayete? Kawan wayine? Ha? Tika kan lagi puno no, teminga ine mwashe mwayine mun ke pun ka puninga. Ni mo na punage yo ke ngatuma. Ko so jangan aja ata muda mo jina yo nanya. Eke garta. Ata mo jangan kuna le ni dai ni ni. Ata dia ndang di parjini kataba ga yamba china ke ngole ni ni. Amoy ga yatule. Amoy ga balano muta. Bagi mo jaga bodo ke ko kweli. Magumo yere krambo yo ke betini mutanda ke chemba munya. Nya kushona mondo mu. Nya kushona mondo magalo ko porta inyo na kijenga le kijenga ni. Kita dah yole bagai beda, kita lihat tias, kita ngaku so dah. Ngaji itu ngaji nah, tapi ngaji no hip hop. Mamu dah harus saya tu nyerlei lah nasi. Lagi man, nyo apa ni? Apa aku nak dia mutabit? Walau kata malah aku nak sambo. Dah nak sambo ni. Aku nak terkejut, apa ini cuma mungkin lagi ngerasa. Ayo lebih nak sambo.
The girls take the word onto the streets. They want the people of Autumn Town and those in the hills beyond to know cutting is a thing of the past. The town has never seen anything like it before.
Ambo abacha ya. Kora na gawita kila mtu. Kama na kwa yang kwanza kina yang wala mayete. Ona la. Tengah tak kian atela. Muna jaga wete. Wong wala na ibacha na gawita mo jini. Nyo kutoro ka na kewa. Ada kutoro kunyor ko ngati ji. Ko ji ku su ko ngati ji ko mo jang lagi tete ri yete. Ko ye ji ko isha kelong malam. Mbongu na yaki wonya. Ata ko tanya balu manyang ko kita satai. Wala na laki wonya dang ata magenda ko ni. Wonya na.